Welcome back to the channel. I have to say that to myself, welcome back to the channel, because it's like molasses in the asses for everybody to get their projects going. And, it's this part of spiritual warfare. Spiritual warfare. And this episode of The Empress is going to cover why Diddy is in a trial in the first place. Spiritual court, earthly courts await him. The one that he's in now, and then any other civil suits or criminal, accusations and charges and things like that. We don't know, because we're just now getting into that moon, the level of the moon card when it comes to Diddy. One of the things that is clear is that Diddy doesn't have one particular deity to assist him anymore. Those who are familiar with the religion, the practice of voodoo, you know about Erzulie Dantor. And Erzulie Dantor was backing up Diddy. She backs up a lot of people, but she failed. She failed tremendously and received one hell of a punishment. Now, those who know voodoo, they're gonna wonder, who the F am I? I'm trying to stop cursing, y'all. Who the F am I to talk about Dantor, and do I know what type of trouble I can get into, and yada, yada, yada. Relax yourself, because until you understand what I am, okay, you're gonna be real ignorant in how you want to address how I'm talking about Dantor. Because Dantor was a pain in my ass and a pain in the 144,000's ass. Big time. We're just now seeing the moon card in and of itself, but to go behind that moon, to go to the dark side of the moon that's never shown, no matter how many times you want to look up in the sky during full moon, sickle moon, this, that, and the third, you're not going to see the other side of that moon due to the orbit of the moon and the earth. But the dark side of that moon, Dantor was really, really, doing the damn thing for Diddy. Now, she showed up in one of my premonitions, and I have a whole map of premonitions. There's many things to be covered, many things to come. So please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification, because we're gonna post a lot of gems, a lot of ancient relics decoded, and how it applies to the collective in the book of Revelations, period. Okay, I'm just going to reiterate that because the channel is still pretty new. So you might hear this and embedded in a lot of the reads, just to reiterate. We're dealing with the book of Revelations. We're dealing with the language of the Most High God, which is Revelations. We're dealing with the new Ark of the Covenant, the 4 quadrants, and what they contain, the physics behind the new Ark of the Covenant, how it's the actual new matrix took over the physics that we are in now. We're not in age of Aquarius only, it's age of Aquarius - Capricorn. So now we have a duality age. And that's a heavy energy. That could be hell on earth or heaven on earth. Tepid, it just don't do. There's no tepid. It's one or the other. Do you want hell or do you want heaven? And there's many frequencies of hell, many frequencies of heaven. But there's the VIP of the heaven, Zion, in the book of Revelations. And then there's the VIP of hell, which is dealing with Moloch, Diddy's forever name and position. If you check in the previous recordings, you will see how we've come to, or the beginning of understanding how we come to the fact that Diddy's forever name, because he is demon, he is one of the fallen that has completed the fall, pretty much. We're watching the completion, the culmination, because everybody who was casted out from the heavens disrespecting Baba, God, when they got casted out, the fall never ended. They just got into different points of origin. They were in Aldebaran, they were in different life forms, but now in the human experience, a lot of culmination of one way of existence and the beginning of a new way of existing. Earth is point for that. So this is why Earth could either go into a cataclysmic state or it can go into an ascension. So ascension has been chosen. That's what's winning. The energies that's dealing with ascension is what's winning. The spiritual warfare is about people descending versus ascending. Who wants to control whoever in this, all this nonsense, all this hot mess that when the age of Pisces receded, all that water, all that ocean, when all that ocean receded, there's a lot of revelations underneath that ocean. It's dry, burning sands, or not. It's whatever you make it. But whatever your choices are here, it could get you into the VIP of the heavens, which is Zion. And I say heavens because there's more than, there's multitude of realms in the heavens. And in hell, in the 1D and the 2D, you cease to exist in any way, shape, or form of normalcy as we know it in the 3D physics. That's the end for you. So where there was Dante's Inferno, now called Daisy's Inferno, that has been pushed up onto the surface. The everyday to day, the la-di-da, the getting in the train or getting in your car, getting in your house, getting at the job, getting at your company, getting at the this, that, and the third, whatever you're doing. You have both the kingdom of heaven and Daisy's Inferno right here, all up in our grill piece, all in our face, completely embedded. Choose one. But the VIP of hell, now this is the two demons that their bodies will be, in a sort of a quantum mania. And there they will form a realm, like a anti-Eden. And you have your Adam and your Eve. You have Lilith and Moloch. And in this realm, this VIP of hell, there'll be multitude of dimensions of suffrage. It is so massive that Dante or Daisy's Inferno is simply just like a little crown on top Lilith's head. Part of her head is up here, it will be always to anchor Daisy's Inferno here on Earth, but from mid-forehead all the way down, this is the VIP of hell. But she needs to sit down. That's what the bitch needs to do. But she won't until she sat down by her own doings, her multitude of voodoo dolls and her flying monkeys and all the spell work and all the acrimonious behavior of Lilith, the queen emperor of hell, the new hell, the VIP of hell, the queen of all demon. She will have to take a seat and sit the fuck down. And so her new body in that new hell, or her being a new hell, is already formulated. There's a lot of humans and other life forms that it's on its way down there or already there, anchoring that body. But she, like I said, she needs to sit down. So there's a throne, and the throne is actually Diddy. So we're gonna cover Diddy. Moloch is what I prefer, but the channel's still new. I'm still breaking this down. So, we'll bring up Puff and Diddy and stuff like that. But there's a lot behind this, and I'm going to try to just stick to the bullet points, but there's plenty of data behind who Diddy really is, what he was really doing during these freak-offs and other things that he was doing, which was considered ritual, was considered pillaging, even if it wasn't magic and it was just stealing from others, enslaving, blackmailing, very ambitious, activities that was going on. He put in so much work. I'm sorry, y'all, but I gotta say it. You put that work in, Daddy. Yeah, you put all that work in, Daddy. And now you are a throne, since you like to steal and or control thrones. Thrones is your physicality, by the way. Your body, which has its own consciousness, and your higher self, which is down already here with you. Because, this is what the new physics has brought in. This is what spiritual warfare, the perks of that, is that especially for the 144,000 who we're all tethered to each other. That's why we have collective reads. We're all tethered to each other, and she has all her demon, major demons like Marquise and Prince and stuff like that of hell that have their legions of demons. Like this is who she is, and they all will be there with her, but in a different format than what you will currently see when you look up under certain demons, especially with the 72 keys of Solomon, King Solomon. So all those 72 major, demon in their different ranks, they all have legions, okay? So Diddy's thing was Diddy ultimately got everybody caught up. So did his counterpart Lilith, okay? Who is in New York. She's in New York physically. She is on her way out. She's dying. By her own hand. By her own hand. She's considered the nothingness. And this ain't me joking around and stuff like that. This is for real. The aspect of existence, having a human experience, is called the nothingness or Lilith or Queen Emperor of Hell. And just like the nothingness in the movie Neverending Story, it deteriorates. So anybody, anything, any place that supports Lilith deteriorates. Because she is the nothing. And I don't gotta talk out the side of my neck or talk out my ass, talk shit. No, I'm telling you what it is. So the nothing tapped in, obsessed with the Empress in strength mode and all strength regalia, like just fully activated. The 8 energy, money, power, respect, karma, the continuum, infinite. This is a supernatural being. This is an earth angel. This is an avatar. This is the Empress goddess or emperor god. Same thing here. You got, at best, a rogue or distorted queen or king that's obsessed because they can never be this. So they go and they get into their magic, and then they become, by stealing from us, which was the best long game hustle they were supposed to, everything in divine order, now has made her Lilith, the Queen Emperor of Hell. And this is her. The Queen Emperor of Hell. Shit done got ugly. Right? You see her? Now this, we'll get into that. Well, we have no choice to get into that. But without further ado, I want to bring it on back to the premise of the episode of The Empress. And that is, Dantor don't live here anymore. Okay? And I know Diddy, did a number of practices and petitioned a number of demon and very dark entities, dark extraterrestrials, malignant extraterrestrials, a lot, and now I'm not going to veer off on that. I was going to talk about extraterrestrial technologies, but whatever. That's a whole different episode, probably a whole different channel. But what we're going to talk about here is, when it comes to Diddy, there's a picture that he has sporting a tattoo of Dantor on his back. If you Google it right now, it'll pull up and pretty much connect. There's 2 pictures. There's one in his Facebook or something like that. And then there's another one where he looks like he's sitting out by the sea, by the water. But the Facebook photo, it says, "She's got my back." No, she does not. See, again, let me back it up to Dantor. Once the new Ark of the Covenant began to formulate as a round table with 4 different sectors surrounding and protecting an inner core sector. Okay, so the 4 sectors are all the apocalyptic horsemen or women, that's their departments, and within their sectors or departments, there's other departments. This is a deep situation. There's departments. This is a massive new matrix. The Ark of the Covenant is an actual matrix now. It took over the former design of this matrix. Something totally different that's going on. You could feel it. It feels very surreal. But in these physics, you have different pantheons, different cultures, even off-world pantheons. One of the main pantheons that is repping the Ark of the Covenant is the pantheons of the voodoo culture, religion. You have the Orishas there. Big up to all the Orishas. That they are family to me. We all sit at the same table, okay? And also the Loa, both the, the Loa that, you form a relationship with and you go back and forth with. Then you got the Petro Loa that you petition and you go back and forth with. And they are very fiery and very dangerous. There's new Petro Loa, new Orisha since the Ark of the Covenant. The Orishas and the Loa that was already in play, the originals, have received their boons and have amplified. So Ogun is amplified, Obatala is amplified, Yemeya, Oya, they are amplified. Okay? There's a lot of Orishas. There's some Orishas that have left the Orisha status and have accepted something different for their evolution, join another pantheon, or trying their hand in different ways. It's really a beautiful situation here, because the physics is already demonstrating that, you could sit down with Oya, you could sit down when she's in a certain form. When she's in the storm form, you can't just sit down with Oya. You're not going to be sitting down with Oya. There's no sitting down with Oya when she's in a storm formation, child. Woo! Fierce. Okay, but, when she's calm, she looks completely different, and she's fun, and it's fun to dance with her. She can kick it and stuff like that. Sometimes you need to relax yourself, right? But, when it comes down to the Erzulies, right? Dantor was asked during the beginning of the Ark formulating. The Kingdom of Heaven began its descent in 2018, September 2018. 2019, the Ark was formulated and strengthening, and people were taking their place. They were accepting their place, but their place was their destiny, a level of ascension that would provide, countless, immeasurable ascending levels to come, make you want to exist. The perks, the blessings, the grace, the love that comes with the Ark of the Covenant, what comes with just heaven. But the Ark of the Covenant is a very fierce and dangerous physics if you are bad mind, bad spirit, bad this, bad that. If you are the 144,000 fifth dimensional being and we're all tethered to each other, we don't even have our minds anymore. It's just pure consciousness that we work with. That was quietly extracted from us, by the way. So we'll go into just how that may have looked in the beginning for you. But it was necessary because the mind is completely attacked, and the mind is absolutely unnecessary. What you need is consciousness, because it's more knowing, it's not arrogant, it's humble. Your body or your throne, your physicality, especially when you are controlling it, you are higher. The heir apparent or the hierophant, you are heir apparent. You run your throne. So when we talk about thrones and how Yeshua received the throne, who he received it from, that we're gonna have to get into that, because I will show you what Father God looks like. We're gonna go over that. I've already kind of demonstrated his likeness, but we're gonna have to go more into the science of who Baba was, what Baba had to do to gain the throne, to give it to Yahshua, and where Baba has gone. It's top secret, but he's in and amongst us. But we don't need to know who he is, right? We just need to treat everybody with respect, because treat somebody of high spiritual rank with disrespect in these times and these physics, and you can escort yourself clean, smooth out of here. It is now Judgment Day. 3,600 Earth years long is Judgment Day. We're only 12 years in. Okay? So, Dantor, during the time of the formulating of the ark, this is when I meet Papa Lepa, and Papa is asking her to assist my family, and she does not do it. My family is under severe attack at this point. Poison, people in and out of our apartment, poisoning food items, particularly mine, heavily on mine, right? And so we had to escape, and Papa Lepa got us out of there. But in the meantime, we were formulating, and we were getting to know each other. All the different pantheons. A lot of pantheons were resurrecting. A lot of pantheons had been taken out through previous spiritual warfares and major leaps in evolution. And, Lord knows the stories behind that. I can't wait to dive into it, right? We got forever. I'm going to want to have some interesting things to keep my mind, well, not my mind, my consciousness, give me purpose, So Dantor was asked, listen, this is your place in the ark at the round table. And it's pretty generous. This is Papa Lepa. It's pretty generous. But what we need you to do is help out this family. He was testing her. I didn't know what was going on yet. This is 2019, going into the summer of 2019. And I remember her in the doorway of the living room. And it was late, it was really late. It was like probably 2 a.m. And I remember seeing this scowl on her face. And her face looked familiar. I hadn't realized that I had her in a premonition trying to block me. And where she was positioned, she was protecting Sean Combs. I wouldn't understand it until now. She had been harassing the shit out of me and mine for years, and I did not know it. So when the premonition came about, I thought she was just being in our energy wreaking havoc because of an in-law, which I'm pretty sure the in-law, because the in-law's parents said that they were a bona fide practitioner. And so I assumed that was the one who was calling on Dantor. So eventually I did know Dantor was in my energy, but I didn't realize that it wasn't, it was only one person that had Dantor's attention. So there's plenty of people that can, they might even make mention in the comment section and say, yeah, I did petition Dantor and I never got a response. But sometimes Erzulies might be known to be like that, like Erzulie Frida. She may or may not answer your petition. Just because you petition a Loa and Orisha, anybody on the other side, in any pantheon or not. Like you may have your grandparents in Zion, you want to petition them, but they didn't like you, you never liked them, y'all didn't come to terms with that, y'all don't have a relationship. Don't think that you can ask them to do something for you and you're not even righteous. I didn't say perfect, I said righteous. You can be imperfect all day, but when your heart come up to that scale, let's stop playing. Okay, you know what I mean. Is my aunt, aka Natalie, because she's strictly business, what's she gonna say about your heart, where it's at? She ain't gonna talk about your imperfections. That's irrelevant. She's gonna ask where your heart is at. Damn it, or bless it. Okay? Dantor didn't have no heart. You see the state of Mars? This is where the Hall of Records open up, and I get to see Dantor before she was Dantor. Okay? And I'm like, oh. I'm like, so now I see Papa Lepa cussing her out because she never helped. All that came through the door was a value pack of chicken legs to help feed my family. That's all that came through the door, I promise you. During a tough time. Right before COVID is to hit. So, Dantor gets cussed out by Papa Lepa. Who the fuck? You fucking bitch. Like he went in. Oh, I was like, woo, because I'm just getting to know Papa Lepa. I'm like, what's going on? What the fuck is going on here? And my grandmother, my mom, who have reached and reached a certain level of ascension and have received the boon, so they're very supernatural. They roll comfortably. If Oya's in storm mode, my mom can roll with her and use her forces. You know what I'm saying? So, big up to my mom and my grandma, both my grandma, and my other mothers. I have other mothers from other incarnations. Mwah. Big up to all my mothers on the other side. I'm grateful, very grateful for that, because the bitch that raised me here, when my mom passed, that wasn't a mother. That was my training for today. Okay, at Eastern Star Witch, ain't that something? That was who raised me. Perfect. There's perfection and imperfection. Okay, divine order is perfection. It was divine order I had to deal with, such a monstrosity. But that's why I can sit here and talk about Lilith, because she's just a replica of the chick that raised, quote unquote, raised me. Okay, so is Dantor. Dantor took a liking, an acrimonious obsession for coming for me and mine. Oh, she squeezed damn near all the life out of us. And so when Papa is asking her, like, we don't got to talk about what you've been up to. All you got to do is make amends, and you can sit at this table. Because ain't nobody at this table really innocent. We all got a record. You understand? But is it expunged? Is it cleansed? Because our heart weighed out properly. And just because we got heart, and a good one, doesn't mean we're punks. It's the Ark of the Covenant, so we're extremely lethal. But Dantor was just like, whatever. And that's why she got cussed out. And then the cussing out didn't stop, right? I mean, it didn't just stop at the cuss out, I should say. All you hear is these trumpets. And I'm like, oh, very rare have I heard this, but I'm hearing it now more often. Only quality over quantity, though. It's only when something massive is popping. And here comes archangels and everything to escort. With Papa Legba at the helm at the crossroads. Get her the fuck out of here. And it was just on. And Dantor was no more. So if you've been petitioning her, maybe another Erzulie, another Lawa jumped in to receive. But Dantor, she exists though. But let me tell you how she exists. Okay? And then we're going to show the receipts when it comes to Diddy. Very important when it comes to Diddy and Dantor. Oh, he got her. He got her in trouble, and she got his ass in trouble. Him and Dantor. She don't got his back. So, Dantor gets taken down to the VIP of hell. And where she's placed lets me know that she had a lot to do with not just mine, but the collective. Because all those rituals that Diddy was doing impacted all of us. It was to drain us. And a lot of us are very aware that there's celebrities that are draining us and subduing us, because if we ever regain power and understanding and our consciousness was just like, why you were going through all of that, and why your children was put through, why your children wasn't allowed to have their birthright blessings and stuff like that, because so-and-so from this TV show or so-and-so from that, that music recording artist, they've been tapped into you for the longest, stealing so that their kids will be okay and fuck yours. You know what I'm saying? So here comes Dantor, she part and parcel to that. Oh, she definitely will get her ass handed to her. You participated in that? While the collective had the scraping stuff, now see that, everything in divine order. But I'm triggered by this. You don't come for anybody. At the table, anybody I'm tethered with, gratefully tethered with, not the people who want to tether and steal our energy, but the fifth dimension. We're all one plane. We're all one right now. We're very dangerous to fuck with right now. Yeah, I activated that in us. That's why we all, every last one of the 144, have a very supernatural spirit. We look very different. This is how I look. My head was cut off and then the ancestors put it back on. They sacrificed the shit out of me. But now I'm a beast. Look at that. I'm holding on. There's a better picture of this, but I'm holding on to any enemy that comes into my energy. Now I got them leashed. Okay? Holding them like what? Holding them like this. Strength. You was doing what? This is a collective read. I'm talking about myself, but I'm speaking for quite a few others, thousands. Thousands easily. Dantor and Diddy really played themselves real good. And now she won herself. He about to won himself, one way or the other. Okay? So she's escorted down to hell, and I go down there because I can. I can astral project anywhere. So I wanted to see what it looked like. And what I saw, I was in awe. You know? I looked at her, and she's covered in a blue light, a blue I've never seen before, but you know it's blue. It's just not on our earthly spectrum. And there's a sound coming from the light, coming out of her mouth. And she's not able to close her mouth, and her eyes are rolling back into her head. And all you hear is this, y'all. Wait, hold on. Spiritual burp is trying to be heard right now. Okay. This is what she sounds like. It's like a flat line, but it's not. It is the sound of pure agony. Like agony 100%. Not 2%, not skim, okay, but a whole, maybe even heavy cream, half and half thick agony. Pure, uncut agony. It has a sound, it has a couleur, it has light. All you heard was coming out of her mouth. Dantor is done, Diddy. And that'll explain a lot, doesn't it, my dear? Now, let me show you this. This is 50 cents, whom we love, protected by the ark. But at his forehead in this album cover, that is Pele. You can check on my website, Tanya the Brooklyn Medium. Go on to Spirit Team, click on Pele and the white dog. That's important. Because the white dog, her name is Sandy Storm, and she's whooping ass. That dog is not to be fucked with, okay? And those who are aware of Pele, that have a relationship with her, they may have seen her in visions with the white dog. And that white dog is putting in that word, daddy. Putting in that word. That white dog is named Sandy Storm. Anyway, so you see Pele in the forehead because she protects 50 cents. But all of us can find something in our forehead if we were to take a picture of ourselves and do a rendering process. If you have Android, and that's, I believe maybe iPhone. I'm an Android person. You go into your photo gallery, you choose your photo that you want to, collage. Okay, so you take your photo, you click collage, you upload the same photo. So you're going to duplicate that one photo, and you're going to have the photo images face each other like a mirror. And you're going to just pull them in bit by bit. And your ancestors, whoever you're working with, whatever ascended masters are working with, they're going to tell you right there, take a look. You're going to be like, what am I looking at? And you're like, so-and-so. You're like, oh, that is so-and-so. And just because we're in this 3D, we're going to go and take a picture from so-and-so and now compare it with this rendering, this image that was rendered out, and we're going to be like, oh shit, that's so-and-so. Right on my skin, right on my forehead. Why are they on my forehead? Okay? Some of us is because we're being protected. But when it comes to Diddy, now let me show you what's going on with Diddy's forehead. And this is important because now you get to see what Dantor looks like. Okay. So, this is a picture. Could be a total AI picture, doesn't matter. It's a picture of Diddy at the courtroom. And look at his forehead. And I saw it was a lot of activity there. Now, I have a whole rendering series from that forehead. I'm just showing you Dantor, but the Mothman. The Mothman, real quick. The Mothman. This is the Mothman off of a rendering that I got off of Mount Shasta. I want to do an episode just on the Mothman. There's different manifestations of Mothman. Different manifestations of him. On the back of it says the collective. This is for the collective, of course it is. The Empress episode. The Empress in strength mode, by the way. And what we are capable of. Because Empress is manifestation. So if you want to know how does this Empress tie into Dantor getting her ass put in her place. Yeah, because you don't come to an Empress goddess disrespecting us. She did too much and she stumbled on the right one. Or the right ones. Just 144,000 is enough to stumble on. But the power of every last one of us that are the 144, you know, we're all very powerful, aren't we? Isn't that something? We are the fifth dimension having a human experience. We have anchored a plane here on this planet. And tapping into us is a really bad idea. Now it's causing chaos. It says prison, cop on cop crime syndicate. So now, again, on both sides of the veil, you have, you know, law enforcers. You have FBI on both sides. You got CIA even on both sides. Interpol, both sides of the veil. Zion has a department for everybody. Training. There's a Quantico out like a motherfucker over there in Zion. For security purposes, of course, it's a spiritual war. And on this side, we have really good law enforcement that have a place at that round table, have a place in Zion. And then you have those who don't have a place at the round motherfucking table, but definitely have a place in the new hell. Definitely got a place. Okay? So there's plenty of corruption within law enforcement, and you have good law enforcers that can be targeted and harmed, so they have a level of protection around them that is very, very like severe. It's the Ark of the Covenant. Anybody knows about a supernatural ark? It's very volatile, it's very lethal, it's nuclear, and then some. Okay? It says eyes wide open now. So no more eyes wide shut. You know, okay, so how is this all tying in? We already know Freemason and any other secret societies who have rogue chapters that use the society, even though the society does deal with the esoterics, but they go and they abuse it, they corrupt it, they get out of control with it. You know, it's a nasty trend or virus within these organizations when chapters want to go into like nasty coven mode and really wild out and get greedy and get nasty and get, you know, out of control with the magic. Doesn't mean that they weren't supposed to. Okay, but there's consequences. Okay, so have another look. Now let's now take a look at what's in that forehead. Ooh, this is an added gem. What's in that forehead? Looks like part man, part rat. I'm just saying. That looked like part man, part rat. This looks like a rat. Looks like a rat. But that's not why we're here. This is a little added bonus. Like I said, there's a whole series of what was found on Diddy's head. Okay, so the difference between Diddy and 50. So this is Pele blessing and protecting 50. And this is Dantor screaming. See her mouth wide open. You see her eyes here. This is how, well, she has more than, she has two sets of eyes. She has a vicious one. I'm going to show you how that when I give you more of the renderings of just her. So you see, these eyes are rolled back. These are her normal eyes. That's her mouth wide open. Oh! She has a certain headdress. The headdress had hidden her true face, very much like a serpent. Let me show you. You can even see her sigil, but you can see the serpent. You can see the serpent. You can pause it. Okay, so let's take a look at different renderings from the Dantor file. This is a cocoon, a random cocoon that I was guided to take a look at. That's Dantor. The eyes, the smug arrogance, right? Just smug. But there's a second head of hers here, just like you see there, right? Okay. Let's get a better picture. This is from Buildings Down in the World Financial Center. This is her eyes, those eyes, but the secondary eyes, the wicked ones, are here, turned up. Her eyes are rolled backwards. So there's these eyes, and then this is the eyes here. You might see even more stuff. But she went from this to that. And this is how she showed up in my dream state. And I was wondering what the hell that was. Who she really is. Now this is a rendering that was pulled from a sketching of the ancient ziggurat underneath the Japanese islands, right? When I rendered it out, I found, again, this is her eyes here, just like you see here. Those are the eyes, the mouth is closed. Just like here, the mouth is closed. Mouth is closed there. It's closed here, but it's wide open here. There's those eyes, very serpentry. Let me show you more photos, actually. Big up to 50 cents. We're going to talk more about why Pele loves him so much. Probably because he's funny as fuck, right? Now, what shows up on my skin, this actually shows up on my skin, my actual skin. Like I have a lot of, what do we call epidermograms. This is Diddy in Moloch mode. Right? Okay. Because of his work that he put in, this is his destiny. He will be a throne. This is the back of the throne. This is the seat where his queen will sit on his lap. He'll be crying. He'll be crying. Many renderings. I have a whole file on Diddy dating back since 2019, y'all. It's another picture of what he'll look like. You can pause it and screenshot maybe. Okay, there's more. Okay. So that was where I got, random picture of a cocoon with Dantor. I was led to that photo. And that's how we got this. That's Dantor. Now, is that somebody who looks worthy of penance? And she wasn't, and she was still given a chance, and she blew it. Look where she's at. Let she be a lesson to all of y'all who feel like y'all can just do whatever you want to do to anyone, Trojan or not. and think that you don't have a heavy price to pay. No, 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 no. That's not how it works. Not in Judgment Day. It's a level of serpentry. Anybody who practices voodoo will probably be able to tell me this more. I'm new to it. I haven't been baptized and all that stuff yet. I work with everybody. Obatalat, everyone. We sit at the same table and we dine and we eat. That should give you a clue about who I am. Or what I am. Some more Dantor. Her sigil. I think that's enough right there. The fact that she's on the back of his head. I mean, on the back of his head, on the front of his head, and on the back of his back. But she doesn't have his back. Anything else from this file? There's a lot from this file that I cannot wait to show you guys. But his throne, anything else I find dealing with his throne, I will be presenting it. Okay, so I think that wraps up that. So let's get a read. How many minutes am I in? Let's pull up some more images so you can understand. And what happens now that Dantor showed up on his face, right? Showed up on his forehead. But can't do nothing for him. You see the type of forces we're dealing with here? You throw me into this sacrificial oven, right? And look how I came out of it. It's the same damn Moloch thing here. Look how I came out. Ah, yeah. Came out like the Omega. I came out of that oven like nigga. Ninja. You know, that's how I came out. Ninja. Now, this is from a screenshot of a movie that we know, a lot of us know, and it was blood pouring out of the building. And the building itself had its own life. It was very, very demonic. Moloch. Other renderings of Diddy. I'm going to give more on that as we go forward. But the renderings keep showing him. This is how he looks spiritually now, but when he goes down into hell, you see that with Cassie? You see the Moloch in between? When he goes down into the VIP of hell and takes his place, which will be shortly. And shortly could be 5 years from now. Let him stay and suffer, right? So we can watch it. This is his counterpart, Lilith. And then when you turn him over, that's him with that headdress that looks familiar, like Dantor's headdress, right? Yeah. Right outside my home. Take a picture and I see this. A screenshot of that raid, right? And then you see Moloch when you render out that picture of the raid. Moloch. See anything else to provide? Rain still to come. Now this is Biggie's book, but we'll go. We'll go more into Biggie showing up in different storms and things, right? Biggie tearing his ass up. Child, do you not? Okay, we definitely gonna dive into the Biggie book, but this is why Biggie was like, pull my book out. If you want to screenshot that. This is showing up on my skin. That's SWAT. Everything is time-stamped in my computer, of course. Look at that. This is how things show up on my actual skin. Usually burns and itches as a horrible horrible thing. But this is another Moloch. I'll present that to y'all a whole lot better, but this is when he was being arrested in the lobby. And this is formulated like Moloch, as you can see. Very vicious. Even outside my window, you see Moloch. Ain't that something? This is from a random photo. Moloch. With fangs. Just like the medium Sloan said, it was fangs. Moloch. His arrest. Okay, so let's put that to the side. I can't wait to publish those books, huh? So let's get a few more cards as we're dealing with cop on crime. I kept hearing 187 on the undercover, all this kind of nonsense. Like, you know, for the police officers, the law enforcement that's on the side of the 144, and a few of them are of the 144, you are protected and you are appreciated. You are invited to the Ark of the Covenant and to heaven, the VIP. And what comes with that, your whole bloodline is protected before you and after. Heaven is on earth and off world is what you receive, okay? But because of the kind of work that you do and because we're in the middle of a war, to be able to balance that is no joke, right? You see the blessings, you can feel the peace, but then there's still this gnawing feeling of war going on, right? Okay, how many minutes am I in? 51 minutes. Let's get a couple of cards in, y'all. Okay, so my grandmother's the first one, the heir apparent of the checkerboard dance floor. So the checkerboard dance floor, that whole Freemason, you know, symbolism, the polarities of black and white, light and dark, malignant, benign, that was technically the matrix we just finished dealing with in Age of Pisces and all the ages before 2012. Okay, as of 2012 going forward, it's the age of Aquarius - Capricorn. We have a 5 vibration. The Earth is only ever known for a 22-4, which is usually an age of advancement that usually ends with a cataclysm, or for the most part, we've dealt with 31-4s, which have been more primitive cycles. Each of these cycles are 3,600 years long. So you can go in your time machine and go back and back and back and back. There's only less than a handful of 3,600 year long cycles that had a 22-4, some level of advancement on this planet. That's why we're always going to find carbon dated ruins from 10,000 and older, because that was the last time we had a technological advance. Now, Noah's flood was in between that. That was just the corruption of magic and filth. You know, anything just negative and controlling and just overwhelming. And the system just rebooted itself through cataclysm, the matrix. Well, we had the black and white matrix for a very long time. Now, the Ark of the Covenant, which is a much more intricate layer for layer and intergalactic and interdimensional physics. So it's not just flat. It can bulk out, it can twirl, it can reconfigure, it can spin, it can, you know, it's a whole lot to this new science, this new physics, the new matrix. So with my grandmother's card, you can see her. I'll have this right. Okay. This is a rendering in the park. This is when she's in the Sophia mode. This is her in her regular mode in the sky. There's different renderings of her. She's the one that could escort you clean, smooth out of your brain through the basal ganglia, the saloon door. Just drop kick your ass up out of there and then spit some snuff in the spittoons. Done. We're finished. Kicking and cleaning out through the short ram. Now bring in a new spirit, a new entity from Zion, from the gate of Zion, that's in the new physics of the Ark of the Covenant, of the Matrix, right? That's the CPU. And so the CPU is bringing in viable, amazing, incredible, healed up souls, some we've known, some that we're related to. This is the second resurrection. Thank you, Diddy, aka Moloch, motherfucker, for what you have done. See, Generation X marks the motherfucking spot, and you know it, right? Came for us, Gen X. Yes, they did. I was right there to fucking see it. I was ducking bullets. Remember, I came up in Bed-Stuy. I was hidden in Queensbridge projects for my first 5 years, as my father is a serial killer. Closeted. We'll get into that a whole different episode, right? He's passed away now. I wouldn't notice until he was long dead. But it explains everything. And explains why my mom, when she was still alive, said that, you know, I didn't exist, like ran. After he whooped her ass, after he set upon me in my life domestic violence. Thank you, right? A generational curse I had to put a stop to, and I did. There will be no domestic violence ever again. So, and that's important because for my offspring, I don't want that for them, you know what I'm saying? So, boom. So I was hidden in Queensbridge and then going back and forth to Bed-Stuy because I have family there. That's my maternal side of the family. And so eventually when my mom passed, that's where I lived in Bed-Stuy. Do or die. So, grandma. She's saying heir apparent of the checkerboard dance floor. Let me put on my reading glasses, y'all. Gen X marks the spot, came for us. But in divine order, whoever is still here on this side, we doing what we got to do as 144. Most of us, a lot of us are 144,000. And then the others who passed over, the supernova Casanovas, right? They can come in and out of this physics in the physical form. Not just through the basal ganglia, through how grandma can just escort that ass in or out. It says, on the back of grandma's card, it says, one of God's favorites on 100, the star. The fifth element energy, which is amazing. Now, it says, devour and or transmute all negative energies. The code for this is 517, so let me explain. The code for 517, that's the fifth position in the Omega War system. In the fifth position, and I will be providing these, that's why I say subscribe and definitely put on your notifications so I can give you the alpha layer of the Ark of the Covenant, the new Ark, and for the new Ark, the Omega War system. So at the fifth position is Apocalypse energy, and the code is 517. Now, people born on 517 or just the number 517, and any way you want to reconfigure it could be 175, 571. Bottom line is this number can be catastrophic. It can be apocalyptic. If you can't find joy in other people's blessings and celebrate and feel motivated and encouraged to go get yours or enjoy the ones that you have already or cause more blessings for others. 517 is when you're sitting out there gotten a big problem with somebody being blessed up. They probably just got a crust of bread and you have a whole bakery, but you don't even want them to have that crust of bread. Something wrong with you. And let me tell you, this Aquarius _ Capricorn ain't gonna tolerate this shit. So Dantor was doomed anyway. Okay? Promoting and Dantor was jealous and very nasty, volatile, wicked spirit. A duplicitous one. Look like she has two parts to herself or whatever. All I know is her ass is in agony. There'll be no more assisting Diddy. When you go and work in tandem with Loa, with your ancestors, you have a relationship and together you work in tandem in co-creating. You're not here to drain and steal from somebody else in order to manifest. This is the level 3 of the major arcana, okay? It's called manifestation. It's called Empress energy. The machete known as the third eye. That the machete that must be kept sharp, that third eye must be kept sharp, can't be rusted, because that's the tool that's going to be put into the emperor energy, the emperor's hand, in order to be the trailblazer when he's not in destructive, distorted emperor energy, which is what the earth has ever really known. With those 3,600 year long cycles, with either 31-4 or 22-4, it always had, well, 22-4s had cataclysms up until this moment. The cataclysm is different. As of 2012, it was just a separation, hell on earth versus heaven on earth. That's this cataclysm now. Okay? The cataclysm is people are leaving by way of fire or going into fire. Because it's Judgment Day. Layer that up. Put that layer there. Judgment Day lasts 3,600 years long. The age of Aquarius - Capricorn is here. I don't know if it's going to stop, because guess why, everybody? In the book of Revelations, it says we're going to have a continuum, and that's what we have. So when you have Genesis to Revelations, it's very linear, right? But fold that Bible into a circle, a 360, and you have Genesis and Revelations connected by the Fool, by the primer, the Fool energy, faith, true mastery. The Fool is the physical, your throne. What is going to help you get through your higher self, through the next levels of this new cycle. And this is the continuum. You're going to have a fresh cycle, then you're going to do it again. Have a new cycle, then you're going to go through the levels of the major arcana in that cycle, then you're going to do it again. And but not the same thing like it's Groundhog's Day. Just a whole new motherfucking cycle. A whole new cycle of evolution. Instead of cataclysm and rebooting a system, because it just couldn't work no more, because that distorted masculine energy, the distorted emperor energy, and thus whatever empress energy we have in the background is distorted and disrespected. Why is she in the fucking background? It should be a balance, right? So this card is saying the heir apparent. You mastered the checkerboard. Now it's time for the whole new physics. You are one of God's favorites. I have to say one of God's favorites. You're one of God's favorites, right? You are the star. You're in the star, that level of the major arcana. I can't wait to get to that level. That episode, that's going to be fun. I'm excited with what the spirit team got to offer. Because when Papa Legba took me to that chamber for the 17, there was a secret door in there. And he said, open that door. And I opened the door, and I can really see and understand the continuum's mechanics. Big up to Benjamin Franklin, who is alive, working with the Ark of the Covenant, working with Nikola Tesla, it's on like popcorn, okay? But yeah, this right here, the only way to stay in this continuum energy, this star energy, is to be celebratory of other people's blessings, be appreciative and sop up your blessings, be the one who invites others to go after their blessings, their harvest, sow good seeds in fertile ground and come out with a harvest. Everybody just get the harvesting and minding your business. Because if you was minding your business, harvesting, then there's no idle hands. It's the devil workshop. Instead of putting in that work, daddy, in order to cipher, to steal, to pummel, to dam up people's blessings, to block their blessings, to keep them destitute for sport, like the Hunger Games and stuff like that. To do this, you're asking to leave the matrix. You can go just like that, or you can deteriorate, and everybody will know why you're deteriorating. And right in plain sight, people will see everything you've ever done to them and to others and thought shit was sweet, come right back to your ass, revisit upon you. Unfortunately, if you have offspring, revisit upon the offspring. Unfortunately, if you have neighbors, they don't even know you. It revisits on your neighbors. That's why everybody got to bless their home and their door. It is the next Passover, y'all. Keep everything blessed up. Your floors, your body, your kids, your spouse, your business, your office space, Keep everything blessed up. Bless up the threshold. Bless up you have to keep it blessed. You have to have your ancestors, all the deities that you are connected to and having a relationship with. You're not just petitioning and begging down for shit. You actually you rock with Oya because you rock with Oya. You could feel the love. You rock with Santa Muerte because you rock with Santa Muerte. You could feel the camaraderie, the sisterhood, the mother energy, the father energy. You're giving that back. You're being nourishing towards them, towards Oya. Why can't you be like, big up Oya, like how you dance? Like, yo, let's put on some music and let's dance. Let's have a good time. Let's kick it. Let's talk. Let's take a break from the spiritual warfare right quick. Okay, let's have a meal. When you eat, she's eating the food. That communion, it's amazing. You can do that with your grandparents and your great-grands and stuff if you're not already doing it. I think I'm preaching to the choir because there's a lot of supernatural within the natural going on right now. That was so only relegated to people who wanted to abuse magic or to do magic but to be quiet with it because it was the age of Pisces. So you can go under 20,000 leagues of water, have a special containment center where you could do mad shit. Nobody will ever know that you're a practitioner, what you're capable of, how incredible an avatar you are, or earth angel, all that. I'm talking from the benign to the malignant. But now in the age of Aquarius hyphen Capricorn, everybody knows. That's why there's a witch talk. Everybody knows how to do these things. But are you ordained? Do you have permission? Or are you now being hustled right into hell? Because you don't need to be doing any of that, especially for the intent that you reek of. It stinks. Okay, so here it says devour and or transmute. Yeah, some of us can devour, spiritual burp. We'll devour it and then we'll change it, and now it's like, oh, you put that spell word. Let me swallow it down and change the molecular structure of it. You can do that. You can, you know that, right? Or say you have an enemy that just keep persisting, like undercover law enforcement that's been using resources and connections to harass you because it's funny, and has been doing really mean, shady shit because a mogul has paid him to do so. And so you take his ass and you take him and you put him in your mouth, not the way they would like you to do it, but you swallow his whole body and you gobble it down, and then you let the acid of your stomach deteriorate him, and then you shit his ass out. Yeah, I said it. And now they're like, I don't know why I'm going through all this shit all of a sudden. Yeah, because you were able to do a lot of foul shit for a long time. And then you got to one in particular and really went haywire and heyday on her. Hayway. You went hayway. Okay? You went berserk. And this is the hustle. So you were supposed to with your distorted emperor energy in disrespect to the empress energy. And now the empress took you and said, you know what? Get your ass over here. Swallow it down. You can feel it swallowing down. You got indigestion for a couple of days, but it's worth it, y'all. Then you make sure your stomach just devours his ass, and then you shit his ass out. You runting now when it comes to him. Talk to your ancestors about that, though, because maybe you're not supposed to swallow them up. But for the ones who was bothering me, now you know why you're going through that shit. They're very angry, but this the Mothman perched. Oh yeah. There's oh yeah. There's a price to pay. This is a very strange image. But this image is dealing with I'll get into that another time, so I'm looking at the time. That image is it's dealing with people who will, just what I was just talking about, that's going to end up exiting themselves out. Very racist, chauvinistic, and such a hate and disdain for the feminine energy. But now, since 2012 and onward, this 3,600-year cycle, we're only 12 years in. It's the return of the Empress bringing judgment, but the Empress, who has always been in the hangman position, very restricted. She's bringing judgment. Okay, after this 3,600 year cycle, the energy for the Empress will change. It will still be in a 5, but it will be in an 11-3 energy. It will be justice is being brought by the Empress, or the 11 and the 3, right? Master, manifester. The 11 is master, a just, masterful manifester. When they asked Yeshua, Father God, because he now has the throne, Yeshua, how do you do the miracles that you do? And he says, I spin the ethers with a mighty thought. And I'm pretty sure he wasn't using his mind, he was using his consciousness. Whether it's the physical, because the physical has its own consciousness, or the higher self that's here, and she or he has their own consciousness, and they work very well with the body. Maybe you could flip this whole scene and you see that the body, the physical, is just like, yo, this looks good. Let's work it out. Let's combine. And she's just, the spirit is like, come here, I got you. Let's get that hobo bag down. Let's get you all cleaned up and get you, ready to rock and roll for the next cycle. No longer will you stay like this, and please, by all means, don't be institutionalized by what moguls and other entertainers or people that have old money power and all kinds of stuff have been doing to the masses, stealing through practitioners doing the illest sorcery. Now the Empress returns out of the cocoon. So maybe the Empress is here and now she's here. And that's a masculine, that's for the men folk and the female folk. This is the third level. This is the energy. This is the manifestor. This is the machete, sharpened, clean. There's no blood. There's nothing if you put it through forensics. It's clean, it's sharp, and it's ready to rock and roll. It's ready for the next episode of the Emperor that we will go into. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Empress in strength mode. The physical and the spiritual are now working in tandem. They work very well. They're so compatible. The mind is gone. And apocalypse for those who were once in a position of such power. Now it's time to equalize. Okay? And that's exactly what's happening.